friends, Ashley here with Crazy Brave Homeschool. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a homeschooling mom to a second grader and a TKer, which means transitional kindergarten. I love to make homeschool content. That's pretty much all you're going to find on this channel. We are a very Charlotte Mason inspired homeschool, but I love sprinkling in lots of different stuff. So on that note, I wanted to make a video that answered some questions that I've been receiving from some viewers about how do we fit it all in. I've had people commenting on, some of like the really fun looking unit studies that we do, and just like such a mix of curricula, and we're always trying out different things. And I've had a handful of people connect with me who are curious about what our schedule looks like and how exactly we are fitting all this in. So I thought, since it's been a really long time since I actually filmed a plan a week with me, I figured we could do that, where I'll flip the camera around and show you guys how I plan out my weekly schedule. But I will say, aside from really just enjoying putting all this stuff together and finding all these different resources, there are probably two main things that help me succeed at any given unit or idea. Number one is planning ahead. I wouldn't say I have the whole school year planned out. I definitely have a lot of the resources already planned out before the year starts. And then the timeline for sure shifts when we can fit certain things in, and a lot of things end up getting delayed. But try to plan ahead. I once heard before we started homeschooling that somebody started planning for the next school year, like the spring, before that following fall. And I was like, what on earth? That's crazy. Why do you need that much time? I get it. I plan the year before. I'm already planning, it's only fall or winter. I'm planning for next year and have it pretty much solidified what we're going to do. And that for sure can shift too. But that's why I like to start thinking about it early. So planning ahead is great. I do my weekly schedule at least 1 to 2 weeks before, so it's not like Sunday night and I'm scrambling to figure out our schedule. I don't do that. I prepare all of our little manipulatives and all the pieces to the crafts and stuff that our curriculum calls for that week. That Sunday ahead of time, I have a basket in our cart, and I make sure that I put everything in there that we're going to need for that week: construction paper, pipe cleaners, glue sticks, whatever, so that I'm not in the middle of this project and have to get up and find all that stuff. That stuff can shut down a school day early for sure. So something else that I do, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a positive. It just sort of ends up being the way our day goes. But I do the fun stuff first. I've heard of a lot of homeschools that crack out their math and their reading ahead of time, first thing, because that's when kids are most alert. And it is true that my kids and myself are most alert in the morning. But there's something about having an activity or a song or a story planned out first thing when the kids come to the table that really helps them to kind of get into the groove of school time. If I was like, okay, come on and sit down, we're going to do math, I might have a harder time corralling them. Even though they do know our school day starts, around 9 a.m. Sometimes I push it to 9:15 or 9:20. But that's been another thing that really helps to ensure that we get everything done, is that we have a start time the same every single day. And that's really, really necessary for my kids. But anyway, we start out with the fun stuff. And sometimes I don't even get to math and reading until the last thing of the day, which is close to noon. We have a lot of fun stuff that I just prefer to do. And the reason, too, that I feel I can start them ahead of time than the core subjects is because I know we'll get the core subjects done. I know I won't skip them. The only thing that I'm risking is that the kids are going to be burned out. And that definitely happens sometimes. So that's why I say this isn't like a perfect way, but it does ensure that we actually get a lot of the things done that I have planned out. I think that this could probably be a longer conversation, but I'm going to try to keep this video brief. Turn around the camera and show you guys how I plan out our week. But yeah, I think, it'll be good to come back to this conversation and just to more like homeschool truths on my channel, because I do have like a very strong-willed child. I have a struggling reader. I have a child that doesn't love school and is a little behind in some areas, and then also doing really well in others. I think that's a common story for a lot of homeschools. But I just want it to be known out there that even though I bring in a lot of fun stuff, it can be a struggle, like more often than not. Okay, so I'll show you how I plan out that week. Okay guys, so I have my homeschool lesson planning minimalist notebook. This is the second year in a row that I've been using this notebook. I do really like it. I'm not sure that I'll be using it for next year. I might have a new idea for next year, but so far this year it's serving me very well. So let's jump into the current week. Okay, so this is where we're at, and I need to plan out week 18. I hope that's accurate. I think that's the week that we're on. All right, so it looks like I kind of already started. I didn't get very far. All right, so these are the pens that I use. They are erasable gel pens, and I can't tell you the brand, but I use 4 different colors because my son and my daughter have their own color, and then things that we do together have the green and then the black. All right, so what I do over here is not much when I'm planning my week. This is kind of where I wrap up the week, and I might make a note about things that are happening that week, but I basically just take notes about things that I need to comment on from that week, any changes that we need to make, or or like our wins and our losses, things like that. Okay, so up here I always put weekly goals. All right, and then I have my daughter and my son. And then morning basket. Okay, so for my daughter, our weekly goals are always that we do our American Girl history, whatever week we are on, and we are that week will be on week 3 of Molly. For math, we use Right Start. So Right Start for 4 days is our goal. And then for language arts, that's going to be a different video. We're kind of going through a little shift. Again, as if you know my channel, you know that we shift language arts a lot. We are doing Explode the Code this week while I wait for something to arrive. So this is a question mark. Yeah, this is kind of complicated to talk about. We will, I do bring in copy work, dictation, recitation, grammar, narration, all these things, but we're sort of in a transition right now. So I'm just putting Explode the Code, and then I have a different planner that I kind of use to write out my daughter's language arts things to hit. Anyway, that was long-winded. I have kids running down the hallway, sorry. Okay, so Blossom and Root. We will be on week 31. Handwriting. I have her work out of the Good and the Beautiful handwriting twice a week. And then whenever I just am forgetting, I just go back to here. Okay, so piano practice at least 2 times a week. Oh, okay, so we have our Hearth Magic Narnia guide. We'll do that, probably 3 days. And then she needs to read aloud every day, which is usually at the end of the day or before bed. Okay, so for my son, he's right now using the Good and the Beautiful math 3 times a week. He has his All About Reading 3 times a week. I have him do Explode the Code 1 day a week. He does handwriting 2 days a week. My husband does a read aloud and narration with him 1 day a week. And then Treehouse Schoolhouse is kind of his little program that we use a little bit from. We'll be on week 11. Okay, and I think that's it for him. Okay, so for morning basket, we read a poem every day. We have our calendar work every day. We are doing a spirituality unit. That's every day. We have our nature study. That's 1 day. What am I forgetting? Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay. Excellent. Okay, so then over here, I put interest, lead, tracker. This doesn't get filled out every week, but I like to make note of new things that my kids are getting into over here. So Monday through Sunday. And then I'll just write them down as I notice it. And I'll write them down in their given color, you know, pink or blue, or if they're both doing something, I'll use green. Okay, so that's all I do for this page. And then at the end of the week, I go through and I make notes and I make check marks and all that. So this is the weekly plan. And I'm just gonna go ahead and date this. And then I put weekend prep, little like weekend tasks that I need to do to get ready for the next week. I put the days on the top. Okay, and then the subjects on the side. So I do morning basket right here. Language arts, math, science, Treehouse Schoolhouse, and social studies and geography. And then this is extra, where I put like the extracurriculars that we have that week. Thursday, I always just block out right away because the kids have a day camp that they go to. So we only school 4 days a week from about 9 a.m. until noon. All right, so morning basket, I just put in poetry, calendar, we do our nature study. I'll put that under science because that's the only thing we're doing for science right now. So we will read Insect Adventures. Oh, you know what? Okay. I just remembered we're bringing in our book seeds for the next couple of weeks. Okay, so in that case, we will not be doing our insect book. We'll put that down for a week or 2 weeks actually, and we will be doing book seeds probably every day. And then as a part of my weekend prep for this week, I'm gonna write in prep book seeds unit because it has a lot of activities, and I will collect all those pieces and put them in my school cart so that they're ready to go for the next week. I also have to look through the book seeds issue and write down which activities we want to do which day. We will obviously read the book on the first day, which is Sunbread. It's a winter solstice book seeds issue. And then I'll have to look at the activities. I will just choose one activity per day. That's it. All right, so so then for Treehouse Schoolhouse, even though it's my son's kind of program, my daughter always likes to do the activity, and whatever activity is paired for that week, we do on Tuesdays. That's also like science because Treehouse Schoolhouse is a nature study. So that's in green because we do it together. Okay, spirit unit. So again, I need to go back to this week and prep our spirit unit. I have the entire unit already written out for each day, but when I say prep, I just mean I want to read. I want to just read through the schedule for that week to make sure that like I feel prepared to talk about everything I want to talk about, and prepare any little craft, materials we need. Okay, so the spirit unit we hit every day. I feel very aware that I have the spirit unit going the same time as the book seeds. And I didn't really make plans to take out anything aside from nature study. Depending on the activity with Treehouse Schoolhouse, if it's really great, I'll keep it in. But if it's not, I'll take it out because we have this other thing going on. So because I'm just very aware that we have this big extra thing this week, I just know that if we miss a couple of things, like say in our spirituality unit, it's going to be okay. And I can always extend this unit and make it longer if I need to. So I think that that's it for like the things they do together. Because again, what they do together is in green. So we'll do my daughter. Again, for language arts, I don't totally know what I'm doing this week because if this new thing comes earlier, I can start it early. But crying kid. I'm just gonna put explode the code. Yeah, it's just kind of up in the air. And like I said, when we do her phonics instruction, I'm also including copywork or dictation or recitation or some grammar. So, but I don't want to write all that in. Like I said, I have a separate spot where I schedule out her language arts. Okay, and then she does handwriting Monday and Tuesday. Blossom and Root. Pretty much every day. So on this day, we'll read the story and do some of the geography. On this day, we'll do the story and narration. This day, we'll do there's like a mini poem and some reading. And then this day we'll probably finish up with some more geography. Okay, and let's see, math, I just put RS for right start. We just follow the lessons one at a time, 4 days a week. And then her geography, or I'm sorry, this is more history right now. I've just been putting SS for social studies and geography for so long. American Girl History, week 3. So I will want to go back here and say prep AGH, week 3. because there's always little craft materials and things like that. So we typically will hit that every day. Sometimes though, it's just reading. Like it's just reading the American Girl book. But I'll have to go through and see what that week looks like in terms of narration, reading assignments, and crafts. And then I'll write it in. But pretty much every day we're hitting American Girl history. And then extra is where I'll put that she'll have to do a little more reading every day. She has gymnastics on Monday and piano on Friday. And okay, so now we can do my son. For his language arts, he does all about reading 3 days a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. He does Explode the Code on Tuesdays. He does his and then so 2 days a week we do handwriting. Here's where he'll do his read aloud from Treehouse Schoolhouse and his narration. Hey you guys, wait, can you get out of here please? Oh, and I did forget one thing. So we do picture study on Fridays with Treehouse Schoolhouse that we do together. So that's in green. Okay, so for my son, for math, we're doing the good and the beautiful 3 days a week. So he doesn't do it on Tuesdays. And I think this is it. So my son is in TK. So he just turned 5. So there's really, not much that I expect of him every week. I do hope that he will do things like picture study, nature study, the Treehouse Schoolhouse activity. I do hope that he'll sit in on our poetry and calendar and whatever unit we're working on, but I don't enforce it. I really only care that he's hitting his handwriting, phonics, and math, and that we're doing a read aloud with him, at least once a week. And then the weekend prepped, this would be then for the following week. So I'm going to leave that blank because we're just not there yet. So then all I have to do to complete this schedule is look at what I'm doing, if I'm doing any crafts for the spirit unit that I need to prepare for. But again, I already have that all, and I can actually show you guys the schedule for that. I have to look to see what the activities in book seeds are and write those down, and then look to see what the activities are in American Girl History and write those down. But this is our weekly schedule. This is really standard. Aside from the book seeds, that's extra. This is like how our schedule has pretty much looked for the entire school year. So I will just show you guys real quick the spirituality unit, just in terms of like the week by week. I'm definitely not going to go through this, and I have a spirituality video where I went over all the resources that we are using. This kind of looks like a lot, and sometimes it feels that way when I do these units. But I do make sure for every unit, we typically will have a read aloud. I'll have other spines that, I want to make sure we're using. I typically will have a weekly theme that I organize out ahead of time, and that helps me gather the resources. And then for each week, we do 4 days, and every day there's typically like 2 readings, and then maybe a further lesson on that reading, and then maybe an activity. So you can see this is kind of all getting messy because it changes. Like yesterday, we got to everything, but then today we did not get to this lesson or a little reading that I wanted to do. Tomorrow then I'm trying to add in that lesson and that reading on top of the craft that we were going to do and a YouTube video. So chances are that's just not going to happen. And I'm totally fine with that. You know, you just cross things out or rework it in somewhere else. It's no big deal. I'm really loose in terms of the unit studies that I put together because I really want them to be enjoyable for everybody. Oh my gosh, you guys, here's a perfect example of how I definitely don't have it all figured out. I totally forgot to add in our Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe novel study that we're doing. So, where am I going to put it? Because we've brought in book seeds. We have our spirituality unit. Okay, I think what I'm going to do... Okay, perfect. I'm going to take out Blossom and Root this week because we don't need so much language arts. And then we just won't do any geography that week. Plus, I'm pretty sure there's some geography coming up, some map work coming up in the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So that's perfect. We'll take that out for a week because I'm not really in any major hurry to finish it. We're really close to the end. So I'm going to add it in here. But then again, I need to look at the guide to figure out what, to write in what the activities are.
What is this?
So Narnia. And I'm just going to put it in every day for now because I don't know exactly what we're going to do. Okay, so I hope that gave you at least a little bit of an idea of what our week looks like. I know watching people write out their schedules, I know for me anyway, I don't really love those videos because it's just kind of hard to even understand exactly, what it looks like in real time. I do want to do, I've had some requests to do another day in the life since the first one we did was a few months ago. So to show you in real time what these lessons look like and some of these units that we've been doing. So I will try to do a day in the life really soon, but I hope that at least just seeing the weekly breakdown can give you an idea of how I do fit it all in. And then of course, some weeks I don't. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions about our schedule, anything at all, leave it in the comments, please. And I will see you all very soon. Happy holidays.